Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering with high honors. She pursued a career in oil and gas, working for ExxonMobil's Beaumont refinery since graduating. Together with her husband, they have funded a bronze endowed scholarship with CFEF, having its first payout in 2022. Please join me in welcoming Heather Bolton.
Before I start, I need to make sure I get the microphone right. Everyone good? Sweet. You guys, you did it. You made it through high school with style in class, so much style in class that you were awarded these scholarships. I think it's important, especially with the fact that college is starting up like any day now, that you take a moment to appreciate all that you are and all that you've done. Let's give another round of applause for you. So, as was introduced and as in a lot of the paperwork you've seen, I'm Heather Bolton. You can safely say I'm a CFISD alum since I went to not only elementary school at Owens, middle school at Libi, and then all 4 years at Cy Falls High School. If you did the math, it was 11 years ago I graduated, so I'm nearly 30, if you're trying to judge the age difference here. I know when I was 18 I couldn't do that. And so as I was putting together this speech for all of us, what I thought would be really interesting would be to go back and look at the essays I wrote 11 years ago and see, one, did I have any clue about what I was saying? And two, what would I add now that I'm here today? So I think we will go into the first excerpt. Now, before I read it, there's a little bit of background on me you need to know. There's going to be a strong water motif. And in high school, my parents' home, and that was the home in which I lived, flooded twice. Once after Hurricane Ike, and then again the following April. Education and learning are life rafts in the middle of a rough, grainy sea. But like the man seeking help from God while drowning, we must take a hold of them for their opportunities to mean anything. Otherwise, we are treading water while watching our potential pass us as we struggle along. After the last couple of years that we've all lived through, and the fact that you're in this room right now, I think can safely say most of you know education and life raft. Education is a life raft. So, I guess 18-year-old me was right. But in addition to education being a life raft, it's a way to improve yourself and what I found, improve the world. So, really cool there. My second excerpt was answering the question, describe and evaluate one experience that significantly influenced your academic or personal interests. And my answer was Miss Reed, who was my Latin teacher. The biggest lesson Miss Reed taught me was that when you love what you do, you don't have to fake energy and excitement, because doing it makes you feel that way. Engineering, my planned degree, is something I would not have thought of without such an example of passion. I can remember the day calculus started to excite me. It was the day I decided to be as enthusiastic in every class as I was in Miss Reed's. She taught me that money and status were surplus if you were working at something you loved. 18-year-old me really had it all figured out. That's what I saw going back as a 30-year-old, so kudos to you. Because doing what you love is important. When I was in college, and while this might seem like a semantical change, it is a real one, I transferred from biomedical engineering to chemical engineering, which I later graduated in. And that made a large difference because I liked chemistry a lot more than I liked the medical field. So when you're in school, don't be afraid to try out new things. Don't be afraid to take classes outside your major. But when I really look at that speech with the eyes I have today, I can't help but think of the idiom, it takes a village. Now I know the full idiom is, it takes a village to raise a child. And I'm not talking about children here. But what I have found in my life is to do anything well, or do anything good, or to do anything kind of worth doing, I typically do require a village. And Miss Reed, back in high school and then onward, was part of my village. I am privileged to say my parents are a very active part of my village to this day and back then. In fact, they are even here tonight filming me on their phones. I don't know if you guys want to give a little wave. In fact, we have a lot of parents who have helped us along, so why don't we give them all a round of applause. One of the biggest things for me in the transition from high school to college was how much of my village wasn't there anymore. I lived in the same house, grade school, I think that includes high school, the whole chunk, that's why I went to all those places. And so I had quite a bit of support. And then I went to college, and the classes were quite large. The professors didn't care if they learned my name. Some did, some didn't. And it takes a lot more active energy to build your village, to say to your TA, like, I'm important, please help me learn. So, like, asterisk here, please go to office hours. That'll solve a lot of the problems I'm describing. So, when you go to college, my advice would be, one, take an active role in building your village. Introduce yourself to your professor, not just once, but maybe the 5 times it takes for him to finally, remember you. But I hope I didn't scare you too much. You don't have to worry. We're here tonight because you already have a member of your village. You have the Sci-Fair Educational Foundation. The scholarship they gave me was enough that I didn't have to work my freshman year at school. That's one of the reasons I was able to transfer from biomedical to chemical, is in that time I explored the majors. From that, I then got a good job where I was located in a spot that I could live with my grandmother, so another little village thing there. By living with my grandmother, I was able to put that money I saved in rent towards giving back to the Sci-Fair Education Foundation. So, when I say you have a village, when I say that CFEF believes in you, not only do they believe in you, they organize money to give to you so that you would have one less thing to worry about. Like, I really mean it. As both a recipient and a donor, I think all of y'all are gonna do some amazing things. So, what have we learned? 1, I think we already kind of knew it, but education is a life raft. 2, you should love what you do. And 3, foster and appreciate your village. Thank you.